Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience, a motivational podcast relating to the insurance brokerage industry and business in general. And now, here's Bill Levinson.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience podcast. Here we are sitting in the middle of September, summertime. I was hoping to say we're coming out of this pandemic, but it looks like we're still dealing with this pandemic, unfortunately. But fortunately, you as an insurance agent are in the right place, and you chose the perfect career path, especially during a time like this, because like it or not, right, COVID-19 is on the top of everyone's mind, right? Think about, the breadwinners, the parents, right, with children sitting around the dinner table or the lunch table or even the breakfast table because everybody's working from home, right, or at least they were. And the topic is, Mommy, Daddy, if you get COVID, are we going to be okay, right? And, of course, that sparks the life insurance conversation, which sparks a quote, which hopefully you get the request, right? And you can fulfill the life insurance wish or command and come up with a great product, land a sale. You're helping the clients. You're helping yourself. It's a win-win-win. But these times are happening more and more right now, and you as an agent have to be at the forefront. And part of this reason is why I wanted to bring on today's podcast guest, Ian Warcall. He's one of our top agents bar none, by the way, in the country, okay? And literally year after year, he receives the Levinson Elite Agent Award, and I'm so proud of him, not only as a great friend, an agent, a person, but he goes out there and not just talks the talk, right? He walks the walk, and he makes it happen day in and day out. We were just talking before we went live here about how, we respect each other's work ethic and how, he sees like an email or a text come in from me at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I see the same from him at the same time. He'll reply within 2 minutes, and we're both like, oh, my gosh, I thought I was the only one working like this. So, it's an unbelievable trait, and I think the proof is in the pudding, and the results speak for themselves when you put in the hours and the time. So anyway, I'm delighted to have Ian join us. And again, this is a part two, right? We spoke pre-pandemic for the first podcast episode, and we're back now in the middle of a pandemic. So we wanted to check in with Ian, and then, of course, we wanted to pick his brain a little bit and see what's working for him, what changes has he seen in the industry and with consumers and carriers. And, of course, at the end of the day, it's about you all walking away with nuggets so you can change your practice, right, in the middle of 2021 and hopefully starting the new year soon in a different place. So that's the name of the game. Take out a pen and paper, okay? I want you to jot down any notes, use your notes app, and think about this too. If you are a good fit, right, and you're maybe looking for some life coaching and you want to pick Ian's brain a little more and join his team, okay, that is a possibility right now. So if you're interested in working with Ian, let us know. And, of course, if it is the right fit, we'll make the introduction and you both can work out all the details and we'll kind of go from there. So first of all, Ian, thank you so much for taking the time, especially in the middle of a busy Tuesday afternoon. We so appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, of course. Always a pleasure. Okay, so let's just jump right in. And, I want to talk a little bit about, let's say, the pandemic. We're in the middle of Life Insurance Awareness Month. There's a lot of changes. I'm just going to bring up a few statistics here, and then I want to shift gears, Ian, and kind of ask, what you're seeing, right? You're in the trenches. You're 100% retail. We're 100% a brokerage IMO, so two different worlds, if you will. So just a few stats that just came in from LIMRA that I think are just mind-boggling. Number one, January 2021, 52% of consumers reported owning a life insurance policy, which is down 63% from 2011. Okay, so in my opinion, that shows there's a huge opportunity. There's over 100 million uninsured Americans who know they need more life coverage. Okay, think about this stat for a minute. 42% of Americans say their household would face financial hardship within 6 months should a wage earner die unexpectedly. 25% would struggle financially within a month. Now, this is the key. Listen to this one real quick. COVID-19 has impacted consumers' perceptions about life insurance. 6 out of 10 consumers said they had a heightened awareness about the value of life insurance, and 31% said they were more likely to buy coverage in 2021 due to the pandemic. This is exactly what we're talking about, okay? So the life insurance topic conversation is skyrocketing, and it's due to the pandemic. It's no secret or surprise. Now, here's a big one. We're talking about social media, having a good website presence, being sharp on the phone, right, and being able to send an e-application, right, with a client, how important it is, okay, and here's exactly why. Okay, listen to this statistic. Likelihood to buy life insurance due to COVID-19 is higher for millennials, up 45%. Okay, the younger generation, millennials, up 45%. That means they are itching to learn about life insurance and get a quote. Here's another big one. Then I'll end with this, and I want Ian's take on this. But of those who tested positive for COVID-19, 42% said they're likely to purchase life insurance this year. Okay, so think about that. Almost half of everyone that tested positive said they're likely to purchase a life insurance policy this year. That means you have to be out there, okay? And you got to be ready to talk and deal with these millennials and the younger generation, okay? Because the days of meeting at Starbucks with a tie that stops at your belly button and a short sleeve dress shirt, they're over, okay? You have to be a little bit tech savvy and get things done over the phone and online. Okay, like it or not, and here it's black and white facts. This is directly from LIMRA for 2021. Okay, Ian, so just a quick question. Are you seeing some of this? Are you feeling this on your end? Are you hearing, COVID come up on your calls?
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, it's just been very, very busy, especially, talking about, the, living benefits and just, some other really popular writers. And I just feel like nowadays you just gotta, people are definitely wanting to talk more about, critical illness and, cancer protection. So, nowadays to me, it's just the best time to sell life insurance. If anything, it's also easier. I can't remember the last time that it's been so crazy like this.
I know. Let me tell you, I've been doing this now just over 23 years. By the way, we're pretty close in age, too. We even look alike. Some people call us cousins, brothers. We get all the above. But the point is, I've never seen anything even close to this. So I just feel like it's such a great opportunity for all agents out there. It's just unreal. And then let's listen to this, Ian. This is nuts. The top reasons consumers buy life insurance, okay, to cover burial and final expenses, 83%, help replace lost wages and income of a wage earner, 68%, and then the last one is transfer wealth or leave an inheritance, 63%, okay, and then the myths out there, the reasons why people are against life insurance, okay, until they learn the facts, 60% it's too expensive, 55% they have other financial priorities, 53%, now this is a big one, they're unsure on what type of life insurance to buy. So again, this tells me you need to get the word out and you need to come up with these little educational 2-3 minute YouTube videos, whatever the case is. But the opportunity is there and it's growing. These numbers are growing every single day now. Okay, and who knows when this is going to be over, this whole pandemic. So hopefully it's over sooner than later, but the opportunity is now, today. Okay, so
and as an agent, one quick thing I was going to mention. Sorry to interrupt you, but as an agent, which is even better, is you have a lot of options. I mean, you can work with the senior market, people that are in their 60s that want to maybe buy just final expense. I mean, that industry is just booming right now. I mean, everyone wants to talk about at least that, or new homeowners, mortgage protection, or a combination of a cash value policy with living benefits with like National Life Group or some other carriers. So, as a broker, you have all these different channels that you can come into and work. So I feel like, now is just a great timing of finding out where you want to, utilize for your niche.
That's exactly right. And what I always say, at the end of the day, as an insurance agent, who cares if it's final expense, if it's burial, if it's retirement planning, if it's wealth whatever the case is, if it's a foot in the door to share your story and ask your questions, it's a win. That's it. Because who knows what it will lead to, right? And it's how you can pivot. So you're exactly right, Ian. Okay, so, we're talking about all these facts, these statistics, right? Obviously, the millennials are more interested in the younger generation, are more interested in hearing more about life insurance than ever, right? And this tells us exactly that. So what's neat about Ian's platform, and I just want to talk about this for a minute, is when I spoke to him pre-pandemic, we had the first episode, right? We were going over, the way he sells and markets, and he has his lead programs he uses and everything else. But what was interesting to me is I asked a question pre-pandemic, okay, a couple years ago, and I said, Ian, out of all your sales, how many would you say were made face-to-face versus over the phone? And it was like 99% were sold over the phone. Right, and online. And we didn't even know about a pandemic, back then. And now you look at today, and it's crazy to see how he positioned his business perfectly for the future, not even knowing what was to come. And that's why not only is he successful, but his business has grown tremendously over the last couple years since podcast number 1. Am I right, Ian?
Yep, absolutely. Just very fortunate, very blessed to be working so hard. And again, not to be redundant, but really now is a great time to be in the industry, whether you're working in, IUL sales or, final expense. It just seems to be, just a great time to be working with, with clients.
I could not agree more. I couldn't agree more. That's the whole reason why we're even having the second podcast with me and you. So spot on. All right, so can you just give everyone like the 100-foot overview, maybe some of the agents that were not on the first podcast we recorded, just a little bit about like your sales marketing process. I know you're selling basically from home, right, online, over the phone. You have your website. Just give everyone a little 100-foot overview on what the business looks and feels like.
Yeah, I mean, just to me, it's all about just, consistency. So, I work a lot of hours, and for me, it's all about just, buying leads every month, convert them into, follow-up calls. I also have someone that I work with who helps me with, scheduling the exam.
And what I think what's also interesting, and you brought this up earlier, is how important it is that you, as an insurance agent, financial advisor, whatever the case is, how you should be maximizing your minutes and be on the phone selling, literally 24/7, and have someone help you with a lot of the admin work, right, or the appointment setting or the follow-up. Am I right, Ian, with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just for me, there's like 100 leads coming in every month, and it came to a point where I just had to hire someone to help me with, chasing down the DocuSigns, scheduling the medical exams, reminding people to complete their health screenings, completing their e-apps. So I just feel like, time is money. I want to focus on what I'm doing best, and that's selling over the phone, making new sales. And I feel like, once you get to a level where you can scale your business and you can afford to hire someone, even if it's like your wife, you just hire an assistant so that they can help you with the things that you just don't want to do. And that way you can focus more time on, taking care of your client calls. But to me nowadays, that's just really important. And I also feel too, people also value your time too, where, sort of like when you go into the doctor's office, they have the assistant call you the day before to give you that reminder for seeing the dentist. So I just feel like you also get a more level of respect. Maybe also, from my experience, less people, flake out on the appointments, those type of things.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and they say perception is everything, and that makes you look even bigger, more professional. It works well in so many ways, and I also feel like even if you're just starting up, or maybe you don't have the dollars, for a new salary every week or every month. There are so many, let's say, summer school students or people online, like these assistants, virtual assistants that are willing to help, right? Until, maybe you have a few bucks to where you can have someone in the office or in your third bedroom, sitting there, 9 to 5 or whatever it is. But that's a huge tip, and it just makes you look great on the outside. And, you have some professional voice say, hey, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, just want to let you know your appointment is tomorrow at 2:30 with Ian, and I emailed a fact finder over. If you can get that filled out so we can have that ready for the appointment, that would be great. Whatever. Or if you have to change things or whatever it is. Now, that brings up another good point. Do you also, I know a lot of agents now, I'm hearing they text a lot to confirm appointments or make appointments. Have you started doing that yet, or do you prefer just emails and phone calls?
Yeah. So, for me, I have certain templates that I save in my Google Drive. And if I'm calling someone, we're scheduled for a day before, I mean, it's crucial that my assistant will call. And then if they don't pick up, they send a text, just mentioning, reiterating, our call, whether if we're talking about, living benefits, return of premium, please make sure you attend the call. It's solely for your family's benefit. Just, give Ian, 5 to 10 minutes. And, by doing those small things, it just gives you, a higher chance that the potential prospect is not going to miss the call. If you don't do those things, then just from my experience, you're going to have more people that you're going to have to chase and that are going to no-show you, or they're just not going to remember that they were scheduled. So yeah, it's really important again about, I would say, a day before, that's when I normally send out I first call them. And then if they don't pick up, I then send, like a group text coming from me and then also from my personal assistant.
I love it. So you have a whole little system down pat here. And and the way I look at it, especially you're dealing with, some seniors or some of the millennials or younger generation, everybody wants to communicate differently, right? I mean, some prefer the text. They don't have time to get on the phone. Some prefer only email. Some just want to hear your voice on a phone call, or they think this isn't real. So at the end of the day, who cares? As long as you're setting the appointment, you're making it happen, and you're following through, right? I mean, that's the way I would look at it. So, okay, now let's go and this is one of my favorite questions. I always like to go here, and I asked you this on the first version that we did a couple of years back, and I'm going to ask it again, but I shortened the years here, the span. Any tips, advice that you would tell the younger Ian, let's say from even 10 years ago? Okay, is there anything, you would have told yourself that maybe you could have done things a little differently or better or whatever the case is? Any advice that some of the younger agents can learn from?
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, I was doing this, aggressively part-time. I wasn't very consistent. I wasn't buying leads every month. I wasn't even asking the right questions. So I just feel like doing this now for a long time now, full-time and having a system and having certain niches and markets. I just feel like for everyone who takes this seriously, it's good to find, your niche where you want to target, whether it's, final expense or, IUL or retirement, and to scale your business, make sure that you buy leads every month, whether it's, you put in $1,000 or $2,000. To me, it's all about being, consistent with your business and treat it like a business. So again, when I started off, a while ago, I was still trying to figure it out. So I've learned a lot, in the last, 10, 15 years.
Love it. Love it. Yep. No. That's strong. And if you think about this, right? And I was talking to someone else about this the other day. What other, career path can you go down, as a young man or woman, right? You're looking at different options and or even universities, whatever the case is. What other career path can you walk into that in a short amount of time have this kind of opportunity at your fingertips where you're helping families, helping yourself, and there's no cap? There's no one's going to say, you just made 50 grand. Now you got to stay here for the next 5 years until you prove yourself again. Even doctors, attorneys, yes, they make a lot of money, and it depends at what level you're in with your practice and everything else, right? But on our side, there's no 8 years of school and a $500,000 tuition bill, right? That you still owe half of. Think about it. So it's as big or as small as you can make it, as you want to make it, right? Obviously, you got to put the time in. I think between me and Ian, we've said it 4 times already, how hard you have to work, okay? But I don't know of another career that you can have this type of outcome, especially in, I'm not going to say a short amount of time, okay, but it doesn't take 20, 30 years for the most part if you're good at it. Am I right, Ian?
Absolutely. I mean, just being able to scale your business. I mean, you can start off with, spending, $500 a week on leads. And then once you get into a groove and you're making a pipeline, the fact that you're able to increase it and have more business come in. So you're not just stopping at, $50,000 a year. You can actually control. I mean, obviously you have to work hard and have a good work ethic and follow through and everything else. But as Bill mentioned, you definitely could increase your business by, how many leads you want to purchase on a monthly basis. And I think that's just, being independent and having your own business is just, to me, it's a great thing. I mean, I love it. It's one of the best things you can do.
I agree. And then even if you want to look at bringing in agents under you and you want to start to build out that side and then, keep your bread and butter income, for your over the phone sales, you can keep that going too. There's so many different avenues. And, we have successful agents that are running mortgage protection leads all day, final expense leads. We have other agents using, health insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. They're using that to open doors. And then the cross sale comes up, whatever it is. So, all right, let's and I want to ask this question. This is more of a personal question that just came up, and as we're talking, I'm thinking about this. But I've noticed, your sales, your premium, everything's going up, which is great. But you bring up living benefits all the time. In fact, even 2 or 3 times in the last 20 minutes. What and I know that's part of your pitch, but what is it about living benefits that you love so much, or what are the consumers, buying into? What kind of feedback are you getting? You love bringing up living benefits, I assume, right, Ian?
It's one word for everyone. It's passion, and I'm very passionate about living benefits. I mean, I know stories of real people that needed long-term care or they had an unexpected heart attack. So, for me, I only want to sell products that I really, really believe in and that I'm passionate about. I mean, I actually have my own IUL with living benefits. So I just feel like if you're talking with people and they hear in your tonality that you're passionate about something, they're going to listen. If you don't have passion, it doesn't matter. You can have all the other tools, but you really have to care and be passionate about about the products you're offering. So to me, anyone can offer term insurance. It's been around for over 100 years. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I offer term as well too, but, living benefits, IULs, I think just, especially now with COVID, being able to offer a product that has, chronic illness and critical illness, a lot of your competition is not necessarily offering it, or they don't have those resources or education. So I just feel like, it's good to be different and to find what you are passionate about and then offer that to your clientele. For me, I really love American National. They offer, this trio package. They have term insurance, living benefits, and they even offer something, that gives you protection for the rest of your life. with the cash out rider and critical and chronic, to me, it's one of the best products I've seen in 15 plus years, assuming that they can qualify, of course, for it.
Yeah, no, that American National product portfolio is awesome. Between the term and permanent, with the living benefits and the ROP, very, very strong. I haven't seen anything else like that in the market too. And by the way, this isn't even about American National; it's about Ian. But this just happened to come up, and you are exactly right. And Ian, by the way, is one of our top American National agents. He's crushing it. So everything he's telling you is facts. Okay, and I'll just echo that real quick. Okay, so living benefits, obviously the new kind of life insurance, right, that pays while you're still alive. Great hook, great message, and it's the truth, and it's working for Ian. It's working for a lot of agents right now. I would be running with that message all over, okay? Let's fast forward here. We're going to move over to, and this is a big one for me too. All these questions are big and important. What I would like to know, just if you look at agents, like let's say you're working with a new agent, and their biggest issue is building rapport over the phone, right? And trying to establish some sort of relationship, and to where the client opens up and they're willing to share some personal information, to where you can figure out what product is best and run a quote. What is any tips around that? Like what would you tell the agent? Like, or maybe what do you do with your own calls? Let's say, how do you start to establish the relationship on a phone call?
Yeah, I mean, if the lead has some type of documentation that they filled out, and if they don't pick up the phone and you leave a message, I would recommend sending a photo of the lead, if that's available. Second, when you get them on the phone, just talk with them for a few minutes. It doesn't have to be necessarily going right into life insurance. Just build rapport with them. What I normally do is, once we start talking, and if I feel like, there's a potential fit here, and I'll just send some pictures, of me and my wife, or whether it's, your kids, your nieces, just so they know that you are an authentic person, and that you are sincerely trying to help them, with their family's needs. So just from my experience, I feel like it's good to be, for me, I'm just being myself. I am a personal person to some degree. I don't want to get into the friend zone and just make a buddy, but at the same time, I just want to find that happy medium where, they go, wow, okay, this guy's a family man. And, I send a link to my website. So if he wants, he can go on the website while I'm on the phone with him. And I also have some screenshots of some of my testimonials, which, includes like a real photo of a client that, it's little things like that, to me really help when it comes to, standing out from all of the other agents that are, calling as well too. Got to be different nowadays.
Yeah, that was strong. You know what? And my biggest takeaway just from what you just said was being real. Being yourself, okay, and sharing with these prospects. By the way, they have no idea if you're calling from California, Florida, India, right? Think about it, Africa, South Africa. They have no clue. So that is a great point, and it's sharing that you're a real person just like them. Here's the family, it's your dog, wife, girlfriend, spouse, whatever, husband, doesn't matter, okay? Share your website, okay? Those testimonials that Ian is talking about, priceless, okay? When they see other people, right, that look and feel similar to they do, right? Think about this. And they said, oh, by the way, I spoke with Ian for the first time. I had such a great feeling. We wound up buying, 3 policies and referred our whole neighborhood to Ian, and he's the best. That tugs on a heartstring. And they say, you know what, wait a minute, Ian can help us too. He is real. And then they see, 7 other testimonials under that one. That stuff works. And you, by the way, and Ian, I know you do this, but every single client that you help, you should ask for these testimonials. In fact, you should email them a link that basically says, hey, did you love working with Bill Levinson? Do you mind spending 30 seconds and filling this out below? That should be automated, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to help build that relationship off the bat with a complete stranger, let's face it. So anyway, love that, Ian, and it's true, and it works.
And also one other thing too, I know it's kind of random, but just, with referrals, I mean, you'd be surprised just the little things nowadays, just, picking up some thank you cards and writing, a handwritten card. I can't remember the last time I actually got a handwritten card from anybody. And, and I throw in a nice box of chocolates, and California Seeds Candies, you can get a pound of chocolates for not even $25. And it's just little things like that where people will actually call and thank me. And I don't know if it's the chocolates. I know they're good, but I get referrals from just doing little things like that. Again, you're just showing people that you appreciate them. You're saying thank you. And again, I don't know if other agents are doing that, but it's just you just being personal and showing them that you appreciate, having them, as clients. Everyone likes a freebie. Come on now.
Yeah, no, it's huge. It's huge. It also sets yourself apart from all of the other agents that are out there. And trust me, because I get one every year from Ian, and it's the little things. It's the little things that make a difference. And now they also know service-wise, or if they have a product question or a referral, guess who they're going to remember, okay? It's Ian. Okay, they're going to remember you. These are the little things that make a huge difference. So you, have to get a little creative, spend a few bucks, and come up with your own little thank you message or gift, whatever it is. So these are the little things that has helped Ian over the years become a top MDRT agent. Okay, it's unreal, and it worked. And by the way, Ian's not, 78, and he's been doing this for 52 years, and he came from a captive environment. No, he was doing this part-time, and then figured, you know what, I'm making a few bucks. I love helping people. I'm going to start doing my own thing, okay? And here, how many years has it been now, Ian, that you've been full-time in the business?
Full-time, close to, I would say, 16 years now.
15, 16 years, and look what he's built. And that's really, that's not a long time if you think about it, to get to where he is in the business. So, you can do it. It's possible. You can do it. You have what it takes. You're willing to put the time in. You can get to a level close to this. I promise you. And by the way, and like I said earlier, if you're greener, you're new to the business, you think that, you're willing to work with Ian and he has the time to work with you, again, could be a great opportunity to learn from the ground up and take his 15 years of knowledge, and wrap it up in a year or 6 months, whatever it is. So anyway, that's also on the table for you. I know I mentioned it in the beginning. Okay, and this is a question that, I was just thinking as we were talking about, building a relationship with these clients on the phone. When you're towards the end of the call, let's say, you spoke about the life insurance and living benefits and figured out their needs, and you're, 17 minutes in, you're at the end, and you emailed them a quote, and they say, well, Ian, this looks great, and we're gonna think about it. So what does your follow-up plan look like after that? Like, you don't have to tell us all the little details, but
sure.
Like at that point, do you quote them, the least expensive product available, and say, you're not going to find anything less, and let me know if you have questions, or do you follow up a week later? What do you do from that point typically?
Well, again, I'm fortunate. I have endless leads, so I'm buying leads every month. So for what I try to do with everyone is at the end of the phone call is if they say they want to think about it, I'll give them another chance to schedule a second phone call. So I'll tell them, I go, look, normally when people say I want to think about it, it means let's just forget about it, or it's the cost. So if they don't want to schedule another phone call, me personally, I'm done with them. I don't have the time to chase people because every month I have another 100+ leads coming in. And I just don't have the time and luxury to do that. But what I'm looking for is you're going to get some one-call closes. Those will come. But you're also going to get a lot of people that they're just not ready yet. They want to talk it over with their with their spouse. They want to look at the emails. They want to look at the brochures. They want to do their due diligence. It makes sense. Not everyone's just going to jump on the first opportunity. So, my goal is to get them on another phone call, I would say within 3 to 4 days. I mean, ideally, the sooner the better. And then you tell them, okay, I'm going to send you the emails. You list them, email 1 of 4, 2 of 4, et cetera. If you have a website, make sure you send them, your credentials, your website, all of the other information. And then a day before, someone needs to call them to remind them. I mean, you can call them yourself, or if you have someone, whether it's your wife or an appointment setter, et cetera, they can call and do the friendly reminder. And that way, when you call the next day, there's a higher chance they'll pick up the phone. And then on that second call, that's when you just go in and you do the e-app, or, depending on what product you're selling, if it's final expense or if it's fully underwritten, that second call, they should be ready to go in for, to take that next step and answer any questions they may have.
Yeah. No. That's spot on. That's exactly the way I would handle it. And another big, and I know you do this, Ian, but another big point and a misconception is consumers think, they're talking about the life insurance and how great it is and the premium. They think life insurance underwriting is the way it was, 10, 15 years ago when, a nurse came out to the house, a week later, and there's blood and urine, and then there's an APS ordered, and it takes, 2 months before you hear back, and this whole thing is a huge production. What a lot of these consumers aren't aware of is these days, right, especially with the pandemic, we have probably over 60% of the products are no exam, done with an e-app that takes less than 7 minutes. Okay, now obviously there has to be no red flags and it will fly through in a day or two, okay, but most consumers aren't aware of this. And they're going to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know I can fill out this e-app and I can have an answer in a day or 2 or 3. This is crazy. Where do I sign up? So bring this stuff up, okay? I think it's important. I know, Ian, you love e-apps and drop tickets, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got better at it throughout the years. I used to be the old school. I love that paper app, but yeah, nowadays with all the technology, especially during COVID, it is important that you know how to do it. The e-apps are actually really easy. It just takes some, a little practice, but once you do it a couple times, it's really easy. And also, what I think is key is, the days of telling a client to email you back or fax you back, the paperwork. I could not imagine not having, DocuSign. I mean, $300 a year, and they could be on their email remotely on their iPhone, Droid, and they can e-sign all of the paperwork. Seriously, guys, it's really important. If you don't spend those little, money there and their business write-offs, DocuSign is really, really important to have, in your bucket list. It really will help make things a lot easier. But also, learning the e-apps, having those things will make your life a lot easier when it comes to making easier sales.
And a lot of the consumers would prefer doing business that way, right? Mm-hmm. So remember what we were saying earlier, right? You cater to the way they want to do business. And, we're talking here, and I just saw there's another statistic in LIMRA for this year. Almost half, 48% of Americans are more likely to buy life insurance if simplified underwriting is used. Okay, so there you go. Things are changing. Okay, you have to change as an agent, right? Consumer behavior patterns changing, you have to change. That's your cue. So exactly what we're talking about now. DocuSign is huge. And I definitely suggest that most carriers are 100% compliant with DocuSign. So we have in fact, we have a chart, an easy to understand chart on our site that explains all of this too. Okay, moving forward, and I want to just keep things moving here. We're almost done, but just a couple other pointers that I think are great for the audience. And I think Ian talks about, when, and he's got a bunch of apps pending all the time. He likes to make sure that he's on top of his business, his applications. What's your suggestion here, Ian, for the audience, for the agents?
Yeah, I mean, this is really important. You got to be just really obsessed with your pending cases. I mean, you should have on your favorites all of your username and passwords, saved for all the carriers. And what I do is every 3 days, I'm making sure that everything is being touched, whether it's, the APS is moving forward, there's no open items. So yeah, it's really, really important that you're monitoring your cases and you're in touch with your case manager, because if you're not doing those things, you're not going to get paid on your cases. And to me, that's the agent's fault. You just have to make sure you monitor them, and it's really, really easy. Just log in, check the status. If there's something maybe that you have a question about, call Levinson. They've got great case managers, and they can walk you through on a specific case. But yeah, that's something I do on a weekly basis.
Yep, it's extremely important, and no one is going to care about your cases like you do. Okay, so you have to understand that. Yeah, and keep in mind, between our website, our case, we have 22 employees here to help you with your back office needs. So between our website, what I would also, if I was an agent out there today, what I would do is get real comfortable. Like, for example, if you love American National and their living benefits, and that's who you're writing, half of the time, make sure you create your login, understand how the back office works, know how to check your cases, commissions, advances, know it like it's your business, right? At the end of the day, yes, we're here to help. Right, and if you're teamed up with Ian, yes, he's there to help. But at the end of the day, it should fall on your shoulders, and you need to know the basics enough to be dangerous, and this falls into that category. Okay, so moving forward here, just a few more things, and then we'll put a bow on this. The one thing about you, Ian, and I'm pretty sure that your mentor or maybe a parent instilled this in you, but with your discipline, how consistent you are, your punctuality, your respect, right, towards, let's say, us, my father, right, the agents you work with, our employees, home office employees, whatever it is, work ethic, doing the right thing, right? You're constantly always preaching that, and it's so important to you. I hear it all the time. And what's your take on that, especially being a successful agent these days in the business?
I just think it's important, just following through on your word, being respectful with whether you're talking to a client or just in general when you're out there in the field, just your follow through. If you're going to tell someone you're going to call them back, or you can do some research, even if I can't help someone, I'm going to at least call them back and say, look, I called up the companies and, it turns out I'm not going to be able to help you. So I just feel like, your reputation, it's everything, nowadays. And I think I just learned that from, being raised from, good parents, working hard. And I just take a lot of, passion in what I do for people and helping them and, finding the right products. If I'm talking to someone and they already have, $1 million in life insurance, I'm going to tell them, look, I think you're good. Like, I'm not looking to sell everybody. I'm looking to find the right fit for people who need my services. But there are times where if I feel they already have, great products, then I'll tell them, look, I think you're doing just fine. And we're just going to, close the file and let's just move forward, yeah, it's always about doing the right thing for the people that you're talking to.
Yep, 100%. And you're right. These days with the internet and social media, it's like, the old saying, like, it'll take you 20 years to build up your reputation and 20 seconds to destroy it. And it's so true. And I wanted to mention that too. And, you talk about like, your parents and you and how you always do the right thing. And your wife is exactly the same way. She walks the walk, talks. I met her a few times, and as nice and humble as Ian is. So I just love to see it. And as you know, if you know me personally or even through business, whatever the case is, it's very rare I'll have an agent back on to do a part two. This is the second time I've done it in the, 3 or 4 years I've had my podcast now. So I think the world of Ian and what he's doing, how he's helping these clients, helping agents. And again, just overall, it's doing the right thing for everyone involved. And when you do, it comes back tenfold. Okay, and it's just funny how that works. You know, people say, oh, it's good luck. And no, it's not good luck. It's doing the right thing, putting in the hours, putting in the hard work. And guess what? It all becomes good luck. I feel like, there's no secret to that. That's just the way it is. We're talking about like habits and being consistent and persistent. And I think those are key words to be successful in our business. And I wanted to mention this. There's a great book I'm reading right now called Atomic Habits. I'm about halfway through it, and it talks about all of this, personal, business, whatever it is. But it speaks about, getting the hard things done first and then having these little anchors, things to remind you, of whatever, doing the right thing or jumping in and less distractions. But you should definitely check out that book. Before we wrap up, Ian, is there anything else, any pointers, tips, anything else you want to leave the audience with? Any suggestions, anything?
I mean, one other thing is just, there's days, working from home, it can get a little bit, frustrated. We all have those days. And I feel like you gotta make your calls when you're feeling you have that right positive energy. So for me, working from home, I do have I like to exercise and try to eat somewhat healthy. So for me, just going to the gym or going to, doing some cardio, little things like that will keep you sharp. It will make you feel really good, releasing those endorphins. So when you're on the phone, people can hear that when you're talking with them. But if you're going to call them and you're not in the right mindset, you're wasting your time. So I guess just to summarize, if you have any type of exercise that you can do, even if it's just going on a walk, little things like that can make the difference when you're making your daily, phone calls when you're working from home.
So important. Yeah, you're right. Especially when you're working these kinds of hours, right? You got to be disciplined, and you're right. You got to be in the right state of mind, and people feel that, and they see right through it. So I couldn't agree more. And if it's walking or yoga or working out or books or podcasts, just keep doing it. I was talking to Andrew the other day, who is my right hand man. He sits 15 feet from me. And I told him, every single day in the morning, okay, and when I leave here at night, sometimes it's 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I make sure I have a 30-minute drive, and I make sure I have some kind of positive, book or podcast every single day. And what I explained to him, I said, look, if let's say you have a 30-minute drive home, you're listening to a radio station, and your favorite song and, or different songs, whatever it is, or satellite or, it doesn't matter, XM, what are you going to learn from that, right? You have a 30-minute drive. Why not maximize those minutes and learn something new and walk away with a new nugget that you can use to better yourself, right? Why not? That's the way that I look at it, right? It's like every single day you have to feed your brain, learn, keep learning, and learn more, and that's what it's about. And let's face it, that's why we're all on this podcast today, right? Because I can think of better things to do for 45, 50 minutes. So anyway, with that said, there's never been a better time. I said it in the beginning. I'm saying it again at the end. These are facts. People are aware now, okay? People are interested in hearing more. The pandemic, COVID-19, has scared people, and rightfully so, right? So they are out there wanting more information, quotes. They want to learn. So it's up to you to be at the forefront. Maximize social media, your website, YouTube. Get the message out there. If you're newer in the business, you team up with someone like Ian, get some one-on-one coaching, okay, whatever it is. but you need to better yourself, which is going to be a win-win for you, your family, the client, everyone involved. So with that said, I hope you walked away with something. Ian, any last closing words for the group before we wrap?
I mean, as Bill mentioned, I mean, to me, knowledge is power. So, even if you go on YouTube and watching, sales videos, just, some tips. There's one guy named Dan Locke, I think his name is. He's really smart. He always gives really good sales techniques. So, yeah, it's always good to read some sales books, podcasts. As, just to mention, as Bill said earlier, I do agree on that.
Yep. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. I feel like, hey, listen, you're in this business, right? Why not maximize every minute? Do the best you can, right? You're already here. Make the most of it. And we have all the tools, everything to help you, the lead programs, the products, okay, direct carrier access, whatever it is. Okay, with that said, thank you so much again. It's actually Positive Tuesday today, so I'll even read my Positive Tuesday quote, right? Why not? So we'll end it with this. Goals are great, but it's the small habits and steps taken each day that make all the difference. I want to thank you, and most important, Ian, thank you again for taking the time for the second Bill Levinson Experience episode. I so appreciate you. Keep up the great work. And for all the agents out there, subscribe, like the podcast channel. And if you leave a comment on our Facebook page, on your favorite podcast channel, I'll send you a free IUL prospecting book on us. With that said, have a great September, and hopefully you stay happy and healthy out there. Thanks again, everyone, and take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Bill Levinson Experience. Please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested. You may also visit levinsonandassociates.com and all of Bill Levinson's social media pages for more information.